What's going on there, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Craftavore Tastes, and today we are digging into another beer courtesy of my buddy Andrew, some Chicagoland goodness in the form of Noon Whistle Brewing Company out of Lombard, Illinois. This is their Gummysicle Northeast India Pale Ale, coming in at 7.2% ABV. So another in the line of Noon Whistle's Gummy series, which they call their Northeast India Pale Ales, or obviously New England style IPAs. Yeah, I'm super stoked to get into this one. This one's actually super fresh. Probably about packaged, I want to say a little bit tough to read, but I'm probably thinking maybe 3 weeks, maybe 3.5 weeks. So should be in a pretty awesome spot. Yeah, there was a period of time when I was digging through all of the awesome beers that Andrew sent me from the Midwest that I kind of felt that Noon Whistle was probably like my favorite kind of, Chicagoland brewery. I've since had a bunch of different beers, obviously from breweries like Mars and things like that. So I've been kind of teetering back and forth a little bit, but I've loved every single thing that I've gotten so far from their Gummy series. So super excited to dive into Gummysicle. All right, so let's go ahead and dive straight into the review. Pop a top on this guy, take a look at the appearance, get the aroma, taste it, and of course, gonna rate it. All right, so Noon Whistle has those funky kind of, they're like the old school cans from the 70s. Like they're this like huge ring where I'm actually just gonna kind of peel off the top right now, which is kind of cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Literally peel off the top of the can, which is kind of fun. Oh my God, I can already see that right now from there. That is juicy, that is hazy. Yeah. Let's pour that guy straight into the glass. Oh my God, look at that. Wow. That, my friends, is a little bit more of a kind of mango juice kind of color. That looks like turkey gravy, dude. So yeah, pours out an absurd turbidity. Literally looks like apricot nectar or like mango juice. Like straight up, it looks exactly like that. That beer poured literally 0 head. None. I'm not even, let's see if I can kick it around a little bit just to see if I can, see if I can even generate a little bit. Yeah, barely, just kind of a little bit of a film of head. So obviously this beer has got a shit ton of oats. So let's dive our nose into it and get an aroma. But yeah, super full on turbid. Literally looks like apricot nectar or like mango juice. All right, aroma. Okay, so getting tropical fruits, but more along the lines of like intense kind of canned mangoes, if that makes sense. Again, the beer's probably about 3.5 weeks fresh right now, so it should kind of be hitting that kind of sweet spot. But the flavors in terms of the tropical fruits aren't kind of like leaping out of the glass. It's more a deeper kind of intensity where like the mango, passion fruit, pineapple kind of flavors are a little bit more like almost sense to the nose like as they're condensed a little bit like canned tropical fruits, which is kind of interesting. Andrew told me that he was actually trading with someone recently, and that person actually had said that this particular beer, tasted a bit kind of sour to him. And we were kind of having this conversation where I'm like, well, there are times when New England style IPAs, if the malt balance to hop ratio, and obviously New England style IPAs, are light on malt to begin with, there's a tendency sometimes where they can be slightly a little bit kind of tart. And what's interesting about this is I get a little tartness in the nose. I really do. Absolutely, and I've kind of gotten that before where, there's just a little bit of perceived tartness and even perhaps maybe a slight bit of acidity going on there. Just in the nose. We'll see what happens in the taste. All right, so let's dive into it and get a taste. Andrew, thank you so much, sir. Cheers. Interesting. So yeah. Wow. So I can understand what that person was saying. Andrew and I had a conversation, and I kind of thought that person's tasting note was a little bit strange. But I understand what he's kind of saying. This beer is kind of weird in the way that, like, there is no little head to speak of. The carbonation level on it is pretty darn low. As you can kind of see, it's just kind of sitting there in that glass with literally no head and just not a tremendous amount of carbonation. And it's not even kind of soft carbonation. Like There's a part of this beer that's borderline kind of flat, which is interesting. As far as in the taste, the beer is actually transitioning itself a little bit more towards orange in the taste. There's definitely some mango going on, but again, it's definitely more kind of canned fruits. What I'm also getting is a bit of tartness and a bit of acidity. The person that Andrew was trading with called the beer sour. I wouldn't go that far. I don't necessarily think it's sour, but there is a bit of tartness and acidity going on here, and I'm not sure exactly what that's about, other than to say perhaps the malt bill ratio on this guy maybe was a little bit off. I'm not 100% sure, but the beer's struggling from it, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Yeah. So Gummysicle. I mean, I'm assuming that these guys were kind of maybe perhaps obviously going with maybe an orange creamsicle kind of flavor. That doesn't really deliver here, to be perfectly honest with you, at all. It frankly does not taste very good, unfortunately. The orange does come through, and I don't know if this beer has lactose in it. I'm not 100% sure. It doesn't say. And I should probably look this up, post this, and I might put this in the like the description section of the actual review itself, because yeah, like there's something up with this beer. And I'm interested, maybe perhaps I'll go on Beer Advocate or maybe even Untappd or something like that to see if everybody else is kind of having a similar experience. There's something up here where the beer is a bit off. It doesn't necessarily taste off, it just does not taste well constructed. I do get a little bit of orange going on there, but there is a slight acidity, as well as tartness to the beer. The malt profile is not shining whatsoever. The beer comes across as flat. And then last but certainly not least, there is this kind of lingering astringency going on there in the middle of the palate, and it doesn't show up for like another minute or after you take your last sip, which is slightly off-putting as well. So, one more sip and then we'll give her a rating. Yeah. Also kind of got a little bit of, I've heard people describe this before. It's got almost kind of got an orange cleaner thing going on there as well. Yeah, so easily I can say, sorry, Andrew, literally I can say that that's absolutely the singular worst Noon Whistle beer I've had to date. It's definitely their worst Gummy series beer that I actually had to date, and yeah, it's pretty disappointing just because that beer's a bit of a mess. So, from a straight up rating perspective, oh man, that is tough. I gotta be perfectly honest with you. There's enough wrong here that I, unfortunately, gonna have to give this guy probably... I think I'm being kind with 3 caps. Yikes. Yeah, there's even a part of me that could probably go as low as 2.75. There's just a lot wrong with this one that I'm not exactly sure. Perhaps maybe they had some issues with either the canning process or maybe even just kind of the brewing process. I don't know. And they kind of let it go. But yeah, bit of a bummer here from Noon Whistle for the Gummysicle Northeast India Pale Ale, 7.2% ABV. 3 caps from the Craftavore Tastes. I hope you join me again for another episode where I drink, I review, I rate, and then I repeat. Cheers, guys.